sister has mentioned is about he, in his inherent nature, from the very beginning, even before he came to know about Islam, he had this sort of search, the process of searching for peace, inner peace of mankind, which is represented in his songs. For example, when he referred to the peace train. Inshallah, we're going to listen to some of it now. In this song, he is searching for peace. And he said that peace is salam, and Islam and salam comes from the same root. So this is the thing that was missing, he was looking for, in his songs, in his life, and he fortunately found it in Islam. So this is what we call as nature, the human nature of fitrah, that Allah Almighty creates in all of us, but it's only because of the distortion of the impacts, some of the impacts of this material life, that we have our hearts sealed against the ways through which we can get it, we can gain this, or we can revive the nature that Allah Almighty deposited in our hearts about Islam and about acknowledging His existence. Any other points?
In his songs, he was searching through the universe, as she said, and he found all the answers in the Quran. He found it talking about all the aspects of life. It gives us the guidelines to how to behave with every aspect in life. And he also liked that in Islam there is a direct relationship between you and God. There is no meditation between you and God. He also said that when he embraced Islam, he made a cut between his life now and his past. He forgot all the bad things that he used to do, and he's now behaving in another way.
Right. Same point or different point? I just want to qualify what she said, because maybe she's trying to hit the point, but it's not very clear yet. Same point? Okay. Thank you. Right. I think she was trying to hit on 2 points. The first thing, which is one of the distinctions of Islam, is that you do not have intermediaries between yourself and Almighty Allah. It's a direct relationship. When you want to worship Almighty Allah, you want to pray Him, you want to ask for forgiveness, you want to do anything that shows your humbleness and need to Almighty Allah, you straightforwardly go to Allah without any sort of intercessors. Okay? This is not the case in Christianity. In Christianity, if you want to ask for forgiveness, you cannot communicate directly with Allah, but you have to go to the clergy, to the church, and perhaps the priest or the preachers will lead you through the repentance process, or what we call as the confession, atraf. Okay? In Islam, this is an advantage that he saw and he acknowledged as one of the the good points in this religion. The other point that she as well mentioned is that every one of us has a specific skill or method of conveying Islam to others. He cut himself off from his past, from his career as a pop singer, but now he's back to the scene. Why? Because he felt that what he can introduce to the people there can be of great and immense help to people to understand Islam in their own way. What is lacking is the methodology. The intent and the material is there, but for us perhaps the methodology of approaching the people in the West is lacking, but he knows it, he has it. So he wants to give his song the reality of an embodiment of what Islam teaches. If he was singing for peace, searching for peace, and he found it in Islam, he wants to vocalize this to the people in the West. Perhaps this will impact them, this will impress them in a specific way that it appeals to them, and they will have him as an example. He assumes that if he just is well and happy enough with his Islam, with his embracement of Islam, without doing any much efforts to convey to the people or to explain to the people his own experience, perhaps this is not going to help Islam. But what may be of great and immense support to Islam is that he says it, he relates his story, even in singing, because that's why he is now composing and singing more songs that promote Islam and the peaceful way of Islam. So every one of us, like, we have different backgrounds. We come from different scientific and cultural backgrounds. So we have something special. Each one of us has something special. So we need to dig into this sort of a case, personal case, and try to find what we can benefit Islam with, and try to promote it, try to use it in our way of Islamic da'wah.
Doctor, I have a question. I didn't understand something before he converting to Islam and found something. He didn't mention his experience of doing this. You said to us that he has a medical problem or something like this.
You read it here in the report. Maybe he's not going to say everything in the clip, but inshallah you will read it here, because we have two different stories. Perhaps they are well connected together. The story of being ill for some time, and the story of being at the edge of drowning in the ocean, which is very famous as well. But both of them, they present to us a tangible evidence that in time of needs and in time of weakness, we, by our natural inherent attitude, we resort to the power that we believe it can help us. And for him, when all these vanities disappeared from around him, the only power, the only real power that he could see and he could believe that can bring him some change was Almighty Allah. Whether he was drowning, whether he was in bed and ill for some years, it's the same situation. Any more points before I move into the following clip?
Yeah, what he has said that before he entered Islam, he was searching for internal peace. And then when he read the Quran and he did his own researches and found that this is the right way and this is what makes his soul elevates to a higher level or so. And this, what I have noticed with people from the West and people from Europe and people that have had no idea about Islam, when they see the light of Islam, they see it and they want to grasp it, and they do not want to let go, and they're so afraid to do anything that's
maybe ruin or spoil.
Displeasing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then when they do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala increase their knowledge, increase their level of iman. Then when they see the people or the majority of Muslims doing things that are not Islamic, it affects them and it hurts them so much. That's why at the end they say it's never too late. It's never too late for someone who's doing mistakes, someone who's